actually. You're not denying what people are saying. You're broadly admitting to it, but you're also trying to pretend that everybody is being mean to you and attacking you and that you've been so wounded when you're the one who did stuff to them. Hello? Before we get into Colleen's comeback video, which we're gonna talk about it. Let me just start with a general disclaimer. I'm a commentator, and everything I'm about to provide in this video is my opinion. It's my speculation based on publicly available information that other people have put out there. I encourage everybody who watches my content to do their own research and come to their own conclusions. I have done my research, and these are the conclusions that I have come to. I do not encourage anybody to spread hate, animosity, etc. So, from here forward, I think we need to take a quick moment to remind ourselves what exactly Colleen is coming back from. Because there's a certain gravity to her particular situation on YouTube. I'm going to read from some notes for just a second. Colleen Ballinger and Corey DeSoto have done some objectively bad things over the past 15 plus years of their YouTube career online. As a preface to this, let's keep in mind that Colleen has almost always had a child audience. And in front of that child audience, while portraying her Miranda Sings character and while just being herself, Colleen has produced a lot of problematic content. There is a Twitter thread that I can produce specifically on this. This is a thread by LOML, Grapeberry, Vinny. This is still available on Twitter. It's also going to be in my sources linked in my description right now. It should be. So Vinny, back in June of this year, on my very own birthday, went through and clipped all of these different moments or, screenshot of titles of videos of Colleen / Miranda / sibling in the videos being problematic. This is a personal... What's the opposite of favorite? Detested? So, there's a lot. Let's see, giving her ex-husband Josh a something on camera while he's talking, even after he says no and is uncomfortable. Posting thumbnails like this to her child audience. Again, child audience, important to mention. This whole thing with her and Todrick Hall showcasing an unhoused person in their vlog, making fun of that person. Note, Corey DeSoto, just as involved in this as Colleen, and I'm honestly shocked that he has not had more consequences from this whole thing.
In my opinion, there's a reason that he deleted all of his socials at the beginning of this thing in June and has not spoken a word about it since. But that's a subject for another video, which is forthcoming. So make sure you're subscribed and notified if you want to see it. Also, YouTube keeps on subscribing people, so can you just double check? Okay, thanks, bye.
And of course, Adam McIntyre has talked about a whole bunch of stuff. Racial stereotypes, fat phobia, racism. The list goes on and on. I'm also going to read my own list. Again, as an overview, I may end up, unfortunately, accidentally forgetting some things here. If I do, put it in the chat. Colleen Ballinger and Corey DeSoto have produced content for a child audience, including racist content, sexually explicit content, including content that is specifically aimed at kids, either sexualizing children or sexualized content for a child audience, shocking and or gross content in general. And just to offer one example, skip ahead or cover your ears for 10 seconds if you love animals. Starting now, trigger warning now. One time, for no particular reason,
she showed an unalived cat in one of her vlogs from tour.
So, why? There's generally exploitative content from her. Daily family vlogging her kids' lives online since they were born. Mental health related content that is misinformed at best, dangerous at worst. And she has sent concerningly mixed signals about her weight and her eating habits in her videos, which has led fans to believe that she has an ED that she won't admit to or won't address, or at least has some disordered habits in that regard. And then outside of the content that Colleen and Corey have produced and published for her channels, just as a person, the two of them have allegedly, but also backed by documentation that is publicly available online, sent nude images of Trisha Paytas to underage fans as a joke, and they even allegedly hosted viewing parties for people to come watch this adult content and mock Trisha for doing it. Also, that content was behind a paywall. So aside from the mean girl factor that's very present here, isn't it stealing to show publicly that paid content that was behind a paywall? Isn't that kind of stealing? Just saying. And all the while this was going on behind the scenes, Colleen was pretending to be Trisha's friend and occasional YouTube collaborator. So, ew, you know? Based on evidence that is available in her public posts, it seems that Colleen cheated on her publicly known husband, Joshua David Evans, to be with her current husband, Eric, who was her employee when they started seeing each other. Based on publicly available evidence, Colleen formed inappropriate grooming relationships with many minor fans, sharing way too much personal information with them, relying on them for emotional support, and often while talking shit about them behind their backs. She would then turn on them and exclude them from her group if they crossed her in any way, or didn't even cross her, but she deemed it as a cross. Colleen and Corey also connected their fans with Colleen's family members, including her allegedly predatory brother, Trent. They have taken advantage of Colleen's fans for free work, like Adam McIntyre, giving her a ton of ideas and briefly running her social media accounts. As somebody who does social media, let me just say that is work. It's time consuming. It takes a lot of creative energy. It's tough to do on a part-time basis and do it well. And so that's why I don't do it super well, to be honest with you. And I know that. I could do more on Instagram. I don't. So there's Adam.
Along similar lines, Adam McIntyre talked about how Colleen would ask her fans and stans, especially the close ones in her group chat, to go and do research about what people were saying about her, keeping tabs on her enemies and frenemies, all of that kind of stuff for her, which I would consider work because it's time out of their schedule doing stuff that only benefits somebody else.
There's also 2 fans that Adam interviewed on his channel a little while ago, back in June, July, when all of this was really popping off, who said that they babysat Colleen's kids when they were minors. I believe that they didn't get paid for that. Also, they babysat Colleen's kids and Colleen's sister's kids when they were on vacation and happened to be in town. Alternatively to that, they have hired their fans in order to get their labor for a severely discounted price. The one thing that I'll give Johnny Silvestri is that he was not paid enough to put up with Corey's bullshit on that tour. That being said, I don't trust Johnny's other claims, and there's ample evidence out there as to why I shouldn't, so I don't. Additionally, they have exploited minor fans on stage with skits that sexualize them, like in the case of Becky and the porn skit. They claim their fans' disabilities were being faked and used as a means to get more attention from her, specifically in the case of Ella, but I'm sure if it happened once, it's not the only time. They body check their fans, which has reportedly caused them body dysmorphia and other body image issues. They have also created an air of sketchiness surrounding her annual childhood cancer fundraiser, which interestingly enough is still linked in Corey DeSoto's new Instagram account.
And perhaps that's because after I filmed and streamed this video, Colleen announced in another one of her new daily vlogs that she is planning on doing her annual childhood cancer fundraiser this year after all. Corey's no longer on the team, it appears, so I'm not exactly sure why he is promoting it, especially as at the time that I saw this, the only link in his Instagram bio. And to be clear, this is not the upcoming 2023 fundraiser that is linked in his bio, it is the past 2022 fundraiser that is still able to be donated to, as you can see. I don't know why. It just opens the door to many possible speculations of sketchiness that I could make. I'm going to choose not to, but boy oh boy does it look weird.
Colleen and Corey will not provide documentation showing where all of the money goes once it is raised, and instead, Corey just insults people for asking about that. For example, this was posted 11 months ago, January 1st, 2023. Somebody asks, is Colleen ever going to prove to us that she actually donated the live stream money and didn't pocket any of it? And Corey responds, wow, what an idiot. You do the work. Call Family Reach. Call Children's Hospital of Los Angeles. Call the families that watched their child die. There's your receipts. You call and they will tell you how much she donated. That's, first of all, that's not what she was asking for. That does not answer her question. And secondly, rude, deflective, mean. Doesn't answer the question, doesn't prove anything. One thing that I will say about the cancer fundraiser, because I'm not going to spend a lot of time on that. This is the only mention of the cancer fundraiser for this video. Legal Bites is a channel that did an amazing series on all of Colleen's potential legal problems, and I highly recommend that you watch the whole. It's a 3-part series, and it comes to about an hour long in total, but I especially recommend her video on this topic, Colleen Ballinger's Massive Legal Mistakes Part 3 Charity Fraud. I didn't subscribe to the channel, but I should because it's good content. Subscribe. It really breaks down, because she's a lawyer who runs this channel. It really breaks down exactly why there's sketchiness, how Colleen could solve the sketchiness, but also she makes a very compelling illustration of what it looks like Colleen may be doing with the money, potentially, allegedly. So it's worth watching. It's linked in my source document, which is linked in the description of this stream, and it will be linked in the description of the edited version of this that I eventually make. This is a broad overview list of Colleen and Corey's many wrongdoings. And as I said, I may have left some things out by mistake. But let's also keep in mind, this is what's available for us to see online based on the stories of people who felt comfortable enough to come forward and share their stories and their receipts. Who knows what else has gone on behind the scenes that we are not privy to, or that just have been overlooked. It's totally possible people are telling their stories and just have not gained the ground, the platform for us to add them to this massive web already. That, like, it's very complicated already. When you look at the beginnings of Colleen's career, there are multiple cancellations that have taken place for her over the years. This 2023 cancellation is not the first one. It's the first one that seemed effective until 2 days ago. For Colleen to come back from all of this, from this very, very deep hole that she had dug her way down into, was going to be difficult. We saw, I don't even know if the High video, the Toxic Gossip Train video, I don't know if that was an attempted comeback. Because, first of all, the video went over poorly, and I think that with a single moment of critical thinking, she could have predicted that it would have gone over poorly. So I don't know why she posted that video. But I think, like, if she had thought that that video was gonna go over well, I think that could have been her comeback. Since it didn't, her next comeback had to be sincere. Because that video, if you watched my video breaking down High Toxic Gossip Train video, that video was completely insincere. There were a few notable nuggets of truth in there, but she was not in the mood to take any accountability and responsibility and make any apologies. So with that in mind, if she was ever going to return to YouTube, it makes sense that she would do it now because, and I'm probably going to repeat some points that other commentators have made, but they're good. They're valid points. This time of year, today is Monday, November 20th. We're coming up on Thanksgiving. We're coming up on Black Friday. This is when AdSense, which is what pays YouTubers through Google, the ads that run on our videos and our live streams, this is when the AdSense rates that we receive are highest. So most opportunity for income, and not only high AdSense, but also family vloggers in general tend to have the most audience interaction around the holidays because it's a family time of year. They're doing Vlogmas, they're doing their celebrations, they're decorating the tree, they're doing the videos that everybody wants to watch to feel warm and cozy and family around the fire, all those kind of vibes. It's a particularly good time of year for specifically vloggers, which is what Colleen is doing now. So that timing makes sense in a general sense. But also, what has happened recently in the Colleeniverse? Rosanna Pansino spoke out recently about, first of all, why she had not been speaking out about Colleen for a long time, because essentially she was going through her own shit in her life. And then she was kind of hoping and waiting to hear some other side of the story from Colleen, and that never happened. Rosanna Pansino was a frequent collaborator with Colleen. One could assume from that there is some kind of a friendship there. Rose said that they don't talk anymore. Their kids don't see each other anymore. She does not support Colleen's behavior. She believes the victim speaking out and all of that. So that, I feel like, was probably a particularly large blow to Colleen to have specifically Ro speaking out. Because, like, Trisha speaking out didn't make Colleen come back because Colleen never really liked Trisha. But I think that Colleen did actually like Ro. So I think it's interesting that after somebody she actually likes and respects, after that person speaks out against her instead of in her favor, shortly afterward, she comes back. Also, Adam, in his response to Rosanna Pansino's statement on everything, in that video, Adam said that he was in therapy, healing, moving forward, ready to kind of leave this behind. Adam theorized this, and I agree that that was not something that Colleen wanted. For people to just move on from this story. If she wasn't going to be online talking about herself, we all needed to be online talking about herself. Somebody, somewhere, needs to be talking about Colleen Ballinger. So the timing is very interesting. Especially because I notice, let's get into the video for this part. So this video of Colleen's, her comeback video, has two portions. The first portion is her readdressing and re-apologizing for the bad things she's done, quote unquote, many years ago. The second, like 75% of the video is her vlogging. And that vlog was filmed on November 17th. November 17th is the day that Adam uploaded this video. Rosanna Pansino speaks on Colleen Ballinger. November 17th, 2023. Interesting, isn't it? That was one video related to that, and then the follow-up. Oh, also November 17th. You gonna tell me that Colleen didn't notice? That didn't spark some inspiration? Like I said, come to your own conclusions. But so what Colleen did film on November 17th and post for us all is this fall vlog. My apologies in advance. I'm going to be stopping a lot to respond. So if you don't like that, then this is really, really not the right stream or the right video for you. Before I watch this, please don't go watch this video out of morbid curiosity. You're watching it here through me. You can watch it through Fat Sajak, through Adam McIntyre. There are tons of other people who are doing essentially this. There are other ways to watch this video. That is my only advice.
Hello everybody. Sorry I've been gone for so long. I've really missed this. I've missed talking to everyone every single day.
First problem. Talking to everyone every single day. First of all, in general, I think that daily vlogging and daily uploading is unhealthy. Second of all, everyone is a majority child audience. Third of all, talking to everyone every single day. That's one of the things she was canceled for. Especially considering the group chats, considering the oversharing. Keep in mind for things she's going to say later.
Obviously, the last video that I posted on here is really embarrassing, to say the least. I was being accused of some pretty awful things, and I just was mad, and I should have handled that situation with maturity and empathy, but instead I just let my ego take over, and I'm really disappointed in myself.
The way that Colleen talks about the situation that she brought upon herself this June, she talks about it like it's not still going on. Like it's so far in the past. I was being accused of awful things, and I felt mad. As if she's not still being accused, and as if she's not still mad. So she's just trying to create so much distance between herself and the actions, and even the timing, the time period of when these actions took place. And I just think that's worth noticing.
Obviously, the last video that I posted on here is really embarrassing, to say the least. I was being accused of some pretty awful things, and I just was mad, and I should have handled that situation with maturity and empathy, but instead I just let my ego take over, and I'm really disappointed in myself.
May I direct your attention? Look at what is still on her channel. This video that's so embarrassing and that she's so disappointed in. Interesting, isn't it? Oh yeah, there's a new one too since this video. It's not worth talking about. It's just her talking about how much she likes rocks. I wish I was joking. It is quite literally 14 minutes of her talking about how much she likes rocks and like what she's doing, like collecting and polishing rocks and her favorite rocks. Because she's really like relatable and quirky now.
So, here's what I want to say today. Over the last 15 years of my career, there have been moments where I was immature and inappropriate with some of my comedy. And there were times when I did not put enough thought into some of my fan interactions. And because of that behavior, people got hurt. And I am so sorry. I never wanted to hurt anybody, but it's clear that I did, and I feel so terrible about that.
Okay, so that's her apology. There are no specifics. There are no names. There's also a lot of distancing between herself and the hurting of other people. I'm gonna run that back just a second so that you can hear what I'm talking about. Listen to the order of these words.
Here's what I want to say today. Over the last 15 years of my career, there have been moments where I was immature and inappropriate with some of my comedy. And there were times when I did not put enough thought into some of my fan interactions. And because of that behavior, people got hurt.
Because of that behavior, people got hurt. Not because of my behavior. And not saying who got hurt. And also not that that behavior hurt people. People just somehow became hurt. We're not even done.
And I am so sorry. I never wanted to hurt anybody, but it's clear that
Acting. I never wanted to. People don't talk like that. I went to school for theater.
Got my BA like Colleen.
I've spent a lot of my life acting. I know acting when I see it.
Especially theater acting.
She's an actress. And she's acting. In my opinion.
And I am so sorry. I never wanted to hurt anybody, but it's clear that I did, and I feel so terrible about that.
She said that she didn't mean to hurt anybody, but she was allegedly sending Trish's nudes to minors, and she was allegedly holding viewing parties where people would attend and watch Trish's content to make fun of it. You were also making fun of your fans privately and publicly, especially Ella, claiming she was making up her illness in order to get close to Colleen. How do you not mean to hurt somebody when you're doing that stuff, when you're abandoning Adam McIntyre, a 15-year-old, alone on the streets of Dublin? I'm not believing the "I never intended to hurt anybody" line. There's one iota of responsibility after she makes sure that we know that she didn't mean to hurt anybody. It's clear that she did, and she feels terrible about it. So the full sentence, because of that behavior, people got hurt, and I'm so sorry. I never meant to hurt anybody, but it's clear that I did, and I feel terrible about it. She can't put the two phrases that matter into the same sentence. Like, she can't just clearly say, I hurt people and I'm so sorry.
Side note, I'm still alive after saying those words. Colleen, you should really try it.
Like, she can't connect herself directly to the hurt and the apology. And again, remember how deep down in the hole she had dug herself? The racism, the sexualizing, the exposing kids to sexual shit, like knowing they were kids. It's a child audience. 15 years on YouTube, you know the demographics of your audience is children. Being just generally gross on YouTube and off in-person interactions and online interactions with people and just like bullying people and being mean, allegedly. And she can't just like say that she did that. And I think that there's some legalities at play here. I think that's why she can't get into specifics. I think that's why she can't name names, even though we all want that from her, because she's in self-preservation mode. I think there's trouble if she admits to things, and there's trouble if she denies things. So she's kind of just saying something happened and whoopsie. So after 4 months, this is what we all get.
I also feel like there's probably people who are disappointed or feel abandoned by me because of my silence over the last few months. And I'm so sorry about that as well. I needed to take time to make sure I was listening and learning as much as possible. And
like I said, I'm pausing it a lot. So this part of the apology is an apology to her current fans and stans that have been waiting with bated breath for her return. If she was listening and learning as much as possible, this wouldn't be her comeback. I think that the people that she was listening to and learning from as much as possible was her lawyer.
I also needed to get the help that I needed to be okay. I'm a mom first and foremost before anything else, and I needed to take care of my kids. So that's where I've been, and but I'm back and I'm here now, and I am not a perfect person.
So she's planting the seed already that she has been suffering because she needed to do what she needed to do to be better, get better. Listen, cancellation or whatever you want to call this accountability culture that exists on the internet, it's not supposed to be pleasant for the person getting canceled. It's not supposed to be easy. I'm sure that she felt some distress while this was happening. But the connection I'm waiting for her to make is that everything bad that happens to Colleen Ballinger is Colleen Ballinger's own fault. Because of the choices that she made with the content she produced, because of the apologies that she refused to give, because of the content that she refused to take down after being made aware of how inappropriate it was, she needed to be pushed up to the line of getting sued, possibly getting investigated, possibly losing everything in order to take down some very obviously bad videos. Some of them she just changed the title and the thumbnail, and the content is still there. And then make one bitter ass ukulele song, and then this 3-minute glossed over bare minimum.
Yeah, some shit really happened there, huh? Anyway,
apology.
So when she sits there and acts like the victim of an internet hate mob, just remember that she has been handling this whole situation entirely on her own terms. This situation, which, by the way, she caused with her over a decade of terrible behavior. Any suffering she's experienced, any needing to get better and be better, is her own fault. It is the direct consequences of her own actions and nobody else's. And I cannot wait for the day that she realizes that.
I am not a perfect person.
Sorry, that was the other thing. We're not looking for perfect. We're looking for not only listening to your ass kissers. We're looking for like being able to take criticism and apologize when you objectively do something mean. That's really it. That's really it. That's really it. That's really it. Like, I'm not sitting here trying to ruin anybody's life. Like, my goal on my channel, honestly, is to talk about like, hey, don't let your kids watch these people who market their problematic content to kids. Like, that's the theme, apparently, of my channel. After the Creepshow art stuff, that's kind of been the type of people that I ended up covering. We're not doing this to make you suffer.
We're doing it to protect audiences, especially child audiences, when the creators they idolize don't seem to give a shit.
We're not expecting you to be perfect. We don't like take joy from holding people's feet to the fire. But what we do is just point out things that we observe and say, hey, just so you know, this is offensive. Maybe please don't do that no more. And maybe take down the one that you already did because it's offensive. It's really, really not that bad. My channel is small. I've had my own criticisms. And you know what you do? You listen, you learn, you move forward. We're not looking for perfect, baby.
I am not a perfect person, and there are plenty of things in my past that I wish I could go back and redo and fix and change. I don't have control over any of that, and I don't have control over the things people say about me. I only have control over my actions moving forward. And so I'm going to do everything that I can to make sure that I create a positive, kind, inclusive, safe space online with my content. And if you want to be a part of my journey online,
remind us, Colleen. wasn't your slogan this whole time, spread happiness, spread kindness, whatever, some kind of like platitude of exactly what you just said? And yet, privately, you were bullying your fans, bullying Trisha Paytas, posting offensive shit online. I'll believe it when I see it, honey. Feel free to prove yourself. But I just want you to know there's no reason for us to trust you at this point. The best indicator of the future is the past or something, is the phrase is something like that. I have no reason to believe, based on your past actions and your past behavior, that the future is going to be any different. You've got a steep uphill battle, and it starts with apologizing to people that so far you've not apologized to, privately or publicly. It starts with addressing things with specifics. It starts with humility. And as much as you're, acting like that has happened here, the rest of us who are paying attention know that that's not the case.
Kind, inclusive, safe space online with my content. And if you want to be a part of my journey online, I would love to have you. And if not, I completely understand. I do not expect anyone to welcome me back with open arms. I don't expect to change anyone's mind with this video. I just wanted to come on here and say that I'm sorry, and I wanted to try to show people that it's possible for someone to grow and learn and be better after making mistakes many, many years ago.
Isn't that cute? Many years ago, she said. Cute, right? She's given herself and her channel this new purpose of like, I'm here to prove that I can change, while also showing how little she has changed. In the same sentence, I can change from the things I did many years ago. This didn't happen many years ago. This was still going on several months ago. And honestly, as far as we know, behind the scenes, it may still be going on in some other group chat that she's formed with some other stans that they've managed to keep completely private and secure so that nobody knows about it. We have no reason to trust that she's going to show us the change. Prove yourself if you want to, baby. But right now I'm saying we don't have a reason to think that you will, especially if you continue to be in this level of denial.
So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to try to vlog again, and today I'm just going to film my day and share some simple happy moments and start the process of starting over. And I know it's going to be awkward and clunky at first as I try to get back into the swing of things, but I'm going to try. So that's what I'm going to do. And thank you for listening, and thank you to anyone who supported me in any capacity over the last 15 years. I've really, really appreciated it.
I love that direct quote of Toxic Gossip Train. Hold on, let me...
yeah, let's get started with the day and see what happens, I guess. I honestly do not know how to transition from this conversation into a vlog, but let's try.
Or maybe don't, Like maybe it feels weird because it is weird. That's just, I don't know if that's like kind of an out there idea, but like maybe it feels awkward because it is. The rest of this vlog is a combination of two things. First of all, so you'll see this was the first 3 minutes and 23 seconds of this video that she dedicated to some sort of whatever that was. So the rest of it she spends, first of all, trying to pull the audience in. It is very easy to get to the end of this vlog of hers, this 13 minutes and 30 seconds, and completely forget that this was the beginning. Because you get wrapped up in she's talking about her chickens, she's talking about her kids, she's talking about making cookies and finding rocks. She's very obsessed with rocks now because she's quirky and cool and not like the other girls. And she's relatable and she's fun and she's cute and she's endearing. And don't you want to watch her live her little weird little life? Wow. That's kind of the overtone of the rest of this video, is kind of reeling that audience back in, especially the young ones, especially the ones who maybe have never been on Twitter, I don't know, the ones who are already stans or were maybe on the fence. It's an advertisement for here's what I'm going to do for the rest of this channel. It's wholesome, it's cute, it's chickens, it's cookies, it's rocks. Great. And then the underscore of that, the undertone, the subplot, is her trying to gain your sympathy. How much she's been through in the past few months, how much has changed in the past few months, how much therapy she's gotten. She has multiple therapists, according to her. How much she has been crying. You know, there's two different ways of getting that audience in. Either you're genuinely interested in her life and her content, that overtone, or you feel bad for her because of what the internet put her through when we all just randomly decided to attack her one day and just tell lies about her. I get frustrated because the part of me that's used to being empathetic in my daily life and that's used to giving people the benefit of the doubt would like to say, you know, she really looks like she might not be in an okay place. This vlog is very eerie. If you watch the whole thing, her house is very white. She's wearing white. It's a very clean, sparse space. She's just like this woman who's alone in a white void talking about chickens and rocks and making cookies alone at 10:30 at night and talking about how much she's been crying and has been in therapy and has been trying to get better. And so it's easy to fall into that and be like, wow, you're sad or you're disturbed or something is going on. Like, I do fear for her safety on a base human level, because I'm like, I am seeing some things that make me concerned. I do not wish any harm on her. Never have, never will. I hope that she is mentally fine. But like I said, that's the part of me that wants to be empathetic, wants to take things for what they look like. However, the part of me that has learned that part of me is a little too strong sometimes and needs to not be so gullible is looking at this video and saying, what a manipulative video. What a way to reel people back in under this guise of innocence when she didn't deny doing anything. Once you get through the beginning and move into the chickens and talking about updates with the kids and the Halloween stuff that's still up in November, you forget, like I said, that the beginning of this video is her admitting in broad sense, but admitting to doing some mean things to a lot of people. So it's like, who are you actually? Who are we actually supposed to believe that you are? Because you're not denying what people are saying. You're broadly admitting to it, but you're also trying to pretend that even though you did those things, everybody is being mean to you and attacking you, and that you've been so wounded when you're the one who did stuff to them. Hello? I think she's trying to make a show of how hurt and impacted she is by everything that she's gone through, by how much she's suffered being offline for a few months, like most people living a normal life, a normal stay-at-home mom life. She's suffering and she's making a show of it. I feel bad for her child fans who are watching this. I feel bad for those people on the fence who may have been swayed by this video and by the follow-up video that she posted the next day of her talking about rocks, which is also the weird thing about that video. Can I just say, this follow-up video that she made, What I've Been Up To, this was filmed on November 18th, which is the day that she posted this fall vlog video and got all of this attention back to her channel. And it's just so weird to know that in the back of my head and watch her spend 14 minutes talking about rocks. And maybe that's why she did it. Knowing her irreverent sense of humor and how unseriously she takes this whole thing that she caused, it makes perfect sense that she would follow up with such mundane, if not strange, content after the video where she's admitting broadly to doing things that people have accused her of. She's begging for attention. She's desperate. Just please don't give it to her. This return is embarrassing. I think that she's also choosing to make it more embarrassing than it needs to be, such as posting a video where she's talking about rocks for 14 minutes. I hope that people stop paying attention to her. I don't think that she deserves the AdSense money, but I also don't feel that it's healthy for her. The way that she parasocially relates to her audience to such an intense degree is not healthy. The way that she uses the camera and uses her fans for emotional support and stuff. It's not healthy. She needs not to be online. She needs not to have more of this attention and have more of this hold over people. Stay away for your own benefit. Also for hers. If you care about her, which I understand if you don't, I care just a tiny bit, and I don't think it's healthy for her, the relationship that she has with the internet. I'm gonna head to my notes. I've watched these clips, I've watched this video multiple times, and I've made, several observations. So I put them in my notes. I just want to make sure that I touched on everything that I wanted to. The way that Colleen talks about the situation, she talks about it in this minimizing way. And even though she broadly admits and apologizes for something, she still also acts like it's not true what people are saying. And I just want people to know who might defend Colleen that if the allegations against her were false, she could whip up a defamation lawsuit so fast. Do you understand? She's not suing Adam McIntyre because she can't, in my opinion. Because what he's saying is true, in my opinion. You cannot look at his video of him scrolling through his Instagram account, not screenshots that were edited, but him live with his account scrolling on through, reading out conversations that they had. You cannot look at that and tell him that he's lying. People have been talking about legal implications. I keep thinking that some lawsuit is going to pop out of this somewhere. If these people were lying about Colleen, her reputation would have been so deeply tarnished that a defamation suit is just like the natural next course of action for someone Colleen's age, with her amount of money, with her general life experience. You know that lawsuits are a thing. You know in general how they work, or at least you know that you have enough money to hire a lawyer to explain it to you and to carry that action forward. Like, you know what a defamation lawsuit is, and that you could sue somebody for lying about you publicly. And it doesn't even have to be as big as what Adam and Becky and Ella and all these other people are saying. It could be literally, you could sue somebody for defamation if they lie about you at like a meeting at your job. If there's like a group meeting at your job and somebody lies about you in a way that tarnishes your reputation, you could sue that person. The magnitude of the defamation lawsuit that Colleen could bring if Adam was lying is so far beyond that. And yet she hasn't brought it. And to me, that speaks to the idea that she can't. So just keep that in mind. If any part of you is like, well, maybe Adam's exaggerating, maybe he's not telling the truth, maybe Becky's exaggerating, but no. Do you really believe in your heart that Colleen wouldn't have already bit that bait if she could have? Just saying. She is behaving in a way that makes me believe that what everybody is saying is true. She knew this video was going to get torn to shreds and analyzed and picked apart. I'm just surprised that this is what she put out. It speaks to no remorse. It speaks to not actually taking this seriously. She talks about being sorry, but she doesn't show any remorse. She emotionally says, like, I feel terrible about that. It's really easy for somebody to say, oh, I feel so terrible. Oh, I'm so sorry. But like a show of remorse is more than that. Are you reaching out to individuals privately to apologize to them? Are you taking down the High video with the toxic gossip train? Why is Miranda Sings as a character still front and center in your Colleen Vlogs page when you've taken down so much of the Miranda Sings content because it was so problematic? But then this one channel that you are actually posting on, Miranda is still front and center. So are you sorry? Also, why aren't you publicly calling off your armies that are attacking your victims who are speaking out against you? If you're sorry, if you're broadly admitting to doing behavior that hurt people, then why aren't you telling your stans to back off? Also, why aren't you staying offline? Because you do truly, like, you deserve some sort of accountability or something to make up for righting the wrong. And missing out on AdSense for Christmas, this one Christmas with your millions of dollars, I think you can do it. Staying away, for a long time, but especially this holiday, I was looking forward to not having to deal with Colleen Ballinger stories over the holiday. I really was. There's no semblance of accountability. You saying that you're sorry is not enough. We need proof that you actually feel that way. Besides, words are not enough. I'm sorry. At this point, no. Also, I'm extremely disappointed in YouTube for not banishing her. In the words of Trisha Paytas, YouTube has really shown their true colors with this situation, and it makes me just like not want to do what I do anymore here on YouTube, because it's like, how far do people have to go for them to take action? Colleen is one of thousands, if not tens of thousands of creators with millions of followers and who make YouTube a decent amount of AdSense. She does not need to be kept around when she's so damaging to her audience, like directly to her audience. It's not even in like a broad potential sense of like, well, this could be offensive to somebody somewhere, or like this could be a bad example for blah. No, she's like directly communicating with fans. She's on tour. She's visiting with them in person and abandoning them on the street in Dublin. She's visiting with them in person, inviting them up onto her stage in her show and spreading her legs in front of the world. She's not just online. She has direct relationships with her fans, and she's misusing them, clearly. And I don't know why that's not enough for YouTube, but it's just grossly disappointing at this point. What do we need? The Ruby Frankie situation, thank God they did something about her, but Colleen caused an even larger firestorm in the media for YouTube. But because there was no arrest, because there was no injured children, which is interesting because there are injured children, but they're mentally injured. They may all be in therapy, but because they're not in the hospital, YouTube seems not to care to take down the person who inflicted that harm on them. I don't take the excuse that they're money hungry. That's not enough for me.
I'm repeatedly disappointed by YouTube's inaction in the face of creators who are clear and present dangers to their audiences online. And I have to wonder, at what point does their turning a blind eye, hands-off management, freedom of expression approach become negligence, enabling, and compliance with the alleged potential crimes of their creators who they employ? Without their YouTube platforms, they would not have access to these audiences against whom they are committing alleged crimes or just generally behaving inappropriately and traumatizing. Does YouTube have no responsibility toward their audiences, or just the audience members who also become creators and make them money? Where is YouTube's responsibility? That's my question. I don't understand it.
I know that my category of YouTube, we're more about informing the audience than we are necessarily, I guess, about actually helping anything to happen. But I guess that also brings me to like the one thing that we can take away from this. Sure, she's back. Sure, she's back at it, manipulating her situation and making herself seem like some kind of a victim when she's actually the aggressor. People can continue to watch Colleen Ballinger if they want to at this point. I can't control that. But at least now, everybody knows who Colleen Ballinger really is. And I hope that that is some solace to the people who were directly impacted by her, to people like Adam, Becky, Ella,
and Oliver, who will get his own segment in an upcoming video.
I hope that they feel that it was worth it for them to share their stories and their trauma, because by doing so, they have exposed Colleen Ballinger in a way that never would have happened had they not spoken up. People are so much more informed. People are so much more aware. People are so much more cautious now. Does she have a remaining core fandom? Yes, everybody does on this platform. But I think that now people can be much more educated and can make a much more educated choice about whether or not they want to click on Colleen's videos, buy her merch, go to her tours, or whatever she does in the future. And at the end of the day, that's what we can do. We are not police. We are not, some of us on YouTube are lawyers, but like we can only do what we can do. Like Colleen says, we can only control what we can control. Nice therapy language coming through there. They have done such an incredible service to the YouTube community by sharing their stories. Even if the ending result is not what we would have hoped for, I hope they can feel that it was something productive and worthwhile. Oliver's in therapy, Becky's in therapy, Adam is in therapy, a lot of the larger names that we've heard about over these past few months. And I hope that as they have their own individual healing journeys, they know that they can outgrow and outlive this drama. Colleen will be stuck with it forever. It's all just evidence that everything bad that happens to Colleen Ballinger is her own fault. It's stuff that she did, and she's living with the consequences, and we're all educated about it now. I just hope that they feel that win. One thing that's weird to me, Colleen talks about... Oh boy, hold on. My juice just like... This is actual being attacked. My juice just like attacked, like just jumped out of the straw and ran down my arm. Colleen has never experienced something so violating. I'm joking. Anyway, so that's fine. Just rub it in like lotion, Hannah. That'll help.